Yo, what's going on, guys? We're back at again with another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about front lines for traps and which one is optimal, either T1 or T2. This was a viewer requested video by one of my guildmates, and we're going to be talking about T1 and T2 front lines. Inf, purely for the fact that most traps will have an Imp front line, because if you don't, then you've wasted a lot of research, all of this, just to try and get those phalanxes. So, let's start with T1 Inf, and the positives of T1 Inf is they're cheap to train. When you take a hit, they are instant to heal, and incredibly cheap to heal. Um, you can train a lot more of them for a cheaper price. They do have less morale than T2, but you have more of them to make up for that. They do less damage, but once again, you have more to make up for that. They have less defense, but once again, you have more to make up for that. But the main reason you have these, if you do have a T1 frontline instead of a T2, is the instant heals. That will help you take a lot more hits, because if a group of people port to you, like 5 or 6, and you get gangbanged, you can take all of them and heal up instantly, providing their attacks are not super well timed, which most gangbangs aren't. They're just a blind fire in the dark and hoping that one of them will catch you before you can heal. But in most cases, if you just have food and all the other resources ready, you just spam that heal button and you'll be good to go for the next hit, the next hit, the next hit, and the next hit, and you'll just keep eating them over and over again. So those are all the benefits and negatives for T1. With T2, it's pretty much they do more damage, they have more health, so your morale will stay up longer, and they have more defense. So effectively, you can take bigger hits from bigger players. From those 1 billion Might Titans, you'll be able to take champ hits, providing your stats are pretty good, from like 200 to 300% and higher. The downsides are they do actually cost gold, whereas T1s don't cost any gold, so you don't have to worry about that. So if you do get bounties that people pay for their hero to come back, then you can use that gold usually to buy speed ups like I did to rebuild. But in this case, you'll be using some of it, so you won't be able to sell as much. They do not insta heal. They do cost quite a few speeds to heal up. I think like 100k of them takes about a day or a bit. They cost a lot of food. You will be running out of food unless you have like a constant food farm or food stream come to you. Um, but if you've got money to put in the game occasionally, then I would say go with T2. That way you can take bigger hits and you lose less. If you don't have money and you don't have speeds like me, and I'm basically just being a cheapskate, then I'd go with T1 frontline for those insta heals, and you can pretty much just rely on your guildmates for the ore and the wood that you need to heal up the T1. Plus, with T1, you can keep your might down a little bit lower. Most T2 traps tend to be in the 60 mil range to 80 mil range, and they're you pretty much know which one that you'll be hitting if by their might. So if a trap is around 60 to 80 mil, they're usually a T2 frontline trap, whereas the lower ones between 50 to 65 tend to be T1 frontline. Like me, I'm trying so hard it's down to 50 million. If I probably will end up going after it, because I'm still rebuilding these infirms. I'm not rebuilding them, but I'm building them up, because last time I took a hit they were all at 8s, 9s and 10s. Now they're all at 16s. And yeah, so pretty much it all depends on your financial status, just like everything else in this game. So if you don't have the speed ups and you don't have the resources, T1. If you do have the speed ups and you do have the resources, T2. But mostly it's all down to gear uh, and stats, to be honest, when you take a hit and whether you'll cap or not. Focus on that HP, don't focus on defense. All about the HP and the attack, just don't bother with defense. Right, that's all for this video. If you have any more suggestions, either leave them in the comments below or message me in game with this name. I won't be changing it until like next KVK, probably, unless I do trap someone. If not, then message me on my main. The name is Mr. Salty AF. I'm in MJ. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.